ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. I'm your host, Paul Metza. Tonight we have two legendary Minnesota musicians, both of whom I'm honored to say are friends of mine. And coincidentally, they both have shows this weekend at Crooner's Lounge in Fridley. First up is Tim Sparks, a man I consider to be one of the finest steel string guitarists and composers in the universe. Tim has a great new record out called Jukebox Dreamin' with bass player James Buckley. Tonight we're going to be talking to Tim about the record and more, including his show he's doing tonight. We taped the show earlier in the week with Rio Nito at Where Else Crooner's Lounge, where it's all happening this weekend. In the last set of the Wall of Power Radio Hour, we will be chatting with Bobby Vandell, a drummer who has played with Bonnie Raitt, Lamont Cranston, Alexander O'Neill, and others. He is debuting his tribute to Merle Haggard, entitled Sing Me Back Home, tonight as well, and he has a special Mother's Day show on Sunday at Crooner's Lounge. We'll give you more info on that as the show progresses. But without any further ado, I want to say hello to my old buddy and old guitar teacher, Tim Sparks. Sparky, how are you?
I'm good, Paul. It's nice to be here. How you doing?
Oh, great, man. I just love the record.
Thank you.
You've been playing a lot with James Buckley over the years, haven't you?
Yeah, this collection of songs incubated over a period of the last 2 or 3 years, and a lot of it reflects the kind of audience I've been finding in the Twin Cities. I started out playing a pretty much straight-ahead jazz, but gradually started to find that things that people related to were more the things you find in the repertoire on this CD, which has a lot of covers by John Lennon and Paul Simon and Beatles tunes and so forth, all they're done with the same kind of postmodern jazz sensibility that I have.
Mm-hmm. Now, I recently did a Muddy Waters tribute at the Ice House, and you were doing the happy hour gig. You sounded fantastic. Do you have a regular standing thing down there?
It's a couple of 2 or 3 times a month.
Okay.
And it's kind of a comfortable place to incubate, try out new music. So I like playing there, and I like the people there and the whole ambiance.
South Minneapolis.
Very eclectic.
Yeah, 26th and Nicola. It's a really lovely club, great food, nice drinks, and they've got a really nice lineup of music. Now, does James Buckley have something to do with that?
He used to. He's now moved on. He's going to be doing a new club in Brooklyn, in New York.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, I was just out there playing. I did a gig at Russ and Daughters on the Lower East Side, a series that John Zorn curates once a month, and then I played a cool gig in Brooklyn with a band called the Sandcatchers that's led by a great guitar player named Yoshi Fruchter, who also used to record for Zodic. So, it helps me appreciate what a great music scene we have in Minneapolis, to tell you the truth.
Well,
great venues and a really great audience here in the Twin Cities.
I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I had a really great conversation with my old running buddy, Timmy O'Keefe, just a couple of days ago, and to see what an amazing percussionist that guy's turned into.
Oh, yeah. You bet.
You played...
Well, I'm doing a gig with O'Keefe at the Ice House next month.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, so
we'll have to
check your calendar.
Yeah, we'll have to bring O'Keefe in and talk about that. Have you met his brother, Pat?
No, I've heard him a lot, but I haven't had a chance to actually play with him. But I've been living up north for such a long time. It's taken me a while to get reintegrated into the Twin City music scene since I moved back.
Well, you were such a part of it when I moved down in 1978. You were ensconced with your lovely wife, Cheryl, and right on the West Bank, and we hooked up immediately. I was a big fan of Rio Nito, lived across Ridgewood Avenue from Tom Lieberman, knew Prudence Johnson very well, and you and I started working together. I was taking lessons from you. A lot of those arrangements, I have to thank you for. I still play. They still stand up. Dig-a-dig-a-doo and Honeysuckle Rose and Carolina Shout. All that great stuff.
Yeah, those were great times, and the Wolverines were really great back in that era, and there was so much good music going on now it's all it's just exploded all over the Twin Cities. You know?
Well, tell people that haven't heard Tim Sparks where you got started playing. You're from down south somewhere.
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina, and I originally started playing like country and blues music and gospel music. I grew up in Piedmont, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I got to study classical guitar at the School of the Arts, the North Carolina School of the Arts, which is a new school. And one of the guys I went to school with, Tony Hauser, was from the famous Hauser family of Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't know you went to school with Tony.
Yeah. That's how I wound up coming up here to visit him when I had some time off from a band I was playing with in Chicago. And I liked the whole scene in the Twin Cities and the whole Triangle Bar, 400. And so ended up staying here.
And the Rainbow Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
I took lessons with both Michael Hauser and Tony Hauser, and you. It was such a, well, it still is, really, Tim. If you look back, Leo Kottke, Peter Lang, Dakota Dave Hall, the rest. I mean, Tim Hennessy.
Yeah. There's a very fertile acoustic guitar scene here in Minnesota.
And you have been one of the leaders of it. So didn't you actually take a master class from the great Andre Segovia?
Well, I attended a couple of his master classes, because the teacher at the North Carolina School of the Arts when I was there was Jesus Silva, was a great Mexican classical guitarist and a protege of Manuel Ponce, who was very tight with Segovia, and so Segovia would come to the School of the Arts and do residencies, and also he taught a great summer residency in Italy for the students.
Wow.
And
I just saw there's a great, I think it was on Amazon Prime, a great documentary on Segovia, and he made good money, traveling the world with his classical guitar, but he gave it's almost the inversion of Spinal Tap Stonehenge. He gave these architects plans for this house, and they built it like 12 times bigger than the house. You got to track this thing down. I mean, this thing looks like it's the size of an airport, but God bless him that he could have...
big guitar collection.
So now you play around the world. Where have you been lately?
Well, lately I did a nice tour in Italy and Germany last fall. Did Peter Finger's tour that he organizes every year. There's some really killer guitar players. And one of them was Alberto Lombardi, who's a great guitarist from Rome. And Steve Hicks, who's from England, who's a terrific, phenomenal ragtime player and guitar maker. And Peter, and it was really cool.
Wow.
And then I did this short little gig residency in New York, and I'm working on another tour in Europe. About a year from now, I'm booking gigs in Germany and Italy right now.
Go ahead.
Well, that's kind of what I'm up to. In the meantime, I'm just playing around Twin Cities. And
it's funny, Tim. I brag about you quite a bit, and also brag that I took lessons from you. But I tell people Tim Sparks is the only guy I know who's actually read Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah, I like Finnegan's Wake, and I've been reading Ulysses. It's terrific.
And what did you tell me what the key to Finnegan's Wake was?
Well, one is that it's Irish dialect written phonetically, but so he's creating the sound of the Irish patois, but at the same time he's using words to write the phonetic sound of the words. So he's imprinting different meanings, into the text. Mm-hmm. And kind of so you have this experience of almost like reading a hieroglyph where you have multiple meanings are embedded in the same word. in one moment. So it's kind of psychedelic that way.
Spells ice cream headache to me, but what do I know? We've got Tim Sparks on. He's got a great new record out called Jukebox Dreamin' with bassist James Buckley. In a little bit, we're going to hear his version of Strawberry Fields Forever. We've got about 30 seconds before the song comes up. How did you arrange this?
Well, this, usually you find a great arrangement, but sometimes you put in a different key that works better on the guitar than the tune. But I think, as I recall, this song is actually arranged in the same key it was originally written in. And it's beautiful the way it falls together. It was just sitting there, Really cool.
It was the first tune I listened to when you sent me the record. We've got Tim Sparks on for 2 more sets. We're going to listen to Strawberry Fields Forever and be back with Tim on the second set of the Wall of Power Radio Hour.
One source of the Twin Cities gay scene is all digital. Follow Twin Cities Gay Scene on Facebook and Twitter. Sign up for the Scene Shot email blast for weekly updates and chances to win great prizes. No app is needed to view the bi-weekly web editions of Scene. It's GLBTQ media for the mobile generation. Find it all at TwinCitiesGayScene.com. That's TwinCitiesGayScene.com.
This President's Day weekend, bring your family to the Osprey Wilds Environmental Learning Centre, formerly known as the Audubon Centre of the Northwoods, on Grindstone Lake in Sandstone. The all-inclusive family weekend has locally sourced meals and winter activities like ice climbing, wildlife programming, skiing, and much more. Reserve your spot at ospreywilds.org or call 320-245-2648. Osprey Wilds. Experience your environment.
This is New Beginnings, hosted by award-winning broadcaster and speaker Freddie Bell.
Freddie, this generation of the baby boomers, people are living longer, so the baby boomers are taking care of elderly parents.
Let's talk about your health, and specifically, let's talk about Medicare. Our show features the concerns of America's 78 million baby boomers in employment, finance, health and nutrition, and even entertainment.
Join us for New Beginnings, Saturday mornings at 11, brought to you in part by Vision Loss Resources.
What kind of a jackass would let an animal pick their insurance? Did you really think a lizard could save you money on car insurance? Would you let a duck pick your health policy? Insurance can be a zoo, but this is ridiculous. What you really need is an insurance agent that isn't looking out for the insurance companies. You need Cheryl at Array, an independent agent with 30 years experience looking for the best rate possible. Quit monkeying around and call 763-504-3067. That's 763-504-3067 for Cheryl at Array, representing you, not the insurance companies.
Food nourishes us. We need food to live. But how are we nourishing the food system? Well, actually, we're throwing a bunch of chemicals and we're making the dirt dead, and then we're adding nitrates to the water, and we're causing dead zones in the ocean. Oh, and we're also causing climate change. We do that with every bite we eat. But we can create something different. We can switch to a regenerative system. And that's what we talk about every week on Food Freedom Radio. So tune to Food Freedom Radio Saturdays at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Food Freedom Radio on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Better Futures Minnesota is a social enterprise which helps men achieve self-sufficiency and a better future for themselves and their communities. We need your help. By donating time or funds to our cause, you can support us and promote a healthier environment. By hiring our deconstruction crews for your next residential or commercial project, and shopping or donating building materials or appliances to our reuse retail warehouse, you are supporting Better Futures Minnesota and your community. Please visit betterfuturesminnesota.com to learn more.
Wall of Power Radio.
Welcome back to set 2 of the Wall of Power Radio Hour. I'm your host, Paul Metsa. My guest for the next couple of sets is my friend and phenomenal guitarist, Tim Sparks. Tim, what are you listening to these days?
Oh, these days, that's a good question. I'm a kind of omnivore when it comes to music. I went through a process of relearning a huge amount of repertoire recorded in the previous decade when I did a series of records for Zodic Records in New York for John Zorn, and a lot of these were solo guitar arrangements of old Jewish folk songs, both klezmer and Sephardic Middle Eastern Jewish music, and I got an opportunity to play a couple of really cool gigs in New York, and so I spent a couple of months digging up and relearning and kind of putting this old repertoire back together. And it was really a great experience because I think I'm a better player now than I was 20 years ago. And so that's one thing I've been playing a lot lately, and I'm also working on a new project of arranging music by Stravinsky and Shostakovich and Prokofiev, 3 major Russian composers from 20th century modern music that I've been doing the guitar arrangements of, and I'm getting really close to being ready to record that. So.
Wow. Well, I remember when I met you, not only did I see you around town playing with Rio Nito, but when we started taking lessons, you were teaching me songs by Fats Waller and James P. Johnson that you would actually take these piano arrangements off LPs and transcribe them.
Yeah, there's a bit of a kind of a Segovia thing there, I guess. I mean, that's one thing he did too, was to adapt for classical guitar pieces that had been written for cello or harpsichord, or for piano. And it's kind of the same idea in a way. If you see their guitar as a kind of an orchestral instrument, you can imagine a lot of different things playing on guitar that started off somewhere else. And sometimes that can have great results. Now, the tunes on the Jukebox Dreamin' were involved in my interest in trying to blend a vocabulary that I started out working for John Zorn, which is a very eclectic postmodern kind of language. So I was mixing like jazz scales and blues licks, and in the case of the material on Jukebox Dreamin', I was trying to also play these kind of chicken pick and country type licks. And the tune Jukebox Dreamin', the title track, is kind of an evocation of an old kind of 60s Ray Charles kind of vibe, where he used to do those beautiful kind of country-esque kind of tunes.
Right.
I remember that movie In the Heat of the Night, he did that tune so beautifully, the theme song of that film. Anyway, it's kind of a sultry, southernish kind of sounding song, and I tried to kind of mine some of those that kind of meeting point, that crossroads of country and blues music and jazz sensibility in that tune. So all the music in the Jukebox Dreamin' album is kind of involved in that, as well as being a kind of a memoir of that whole era and what it was like in the South, which was an extremely polarized type of place. And I mean, right now we're living in an era of repolarization.
Yeah, no doubt.
That I never imagined would happen. That has bad as it is, and I hope it won't last forever.
Well, it starts at the top, and without mentioning any names.
Yeah.
Tim Sparks, what were your early guitar influences?
Well, my grandma, she played some guitar and piano. I heard lots of really good bluegrass guitar players, and then, of course, when I was a kid growing up, Doc Watson and Chet Atkins were big icons. And in North Carolina, one of my earliest memories as an infant watching TV was watching Arthur Smith's TV show, which came out of Charlotte, North Carolina. and Arthur Smith and the Cracker Jacks, and Arthur Smith's Guitar Boogie.
Yeah, sure.
Was his big tune, and he was a great guitar player, and would also have different people come visit on his show, like Chad Atkins,
wow,
Doc Watson, for example. I was just talking to Prudence about this the other day. She's working up a show. I can't think of her name now. She played with who's the blonde country diva of all time?
Dolly Parton. Oh, Dolly Parton, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was telling Prudence, like, when I was a kid, I used to watch Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner's TV show every week. There were tons of those kind of weird country shows you could watch down in the South, and all of them had incredibly great music.
Yeah, well, it's, back in that 30s and 40s into the 50s, there was so much live music on both radio and then eventually television. You look back, Tim Sparks, at WCCO radio. Willard Peterson, the patriarch of the Peterson family, and Jeannie Peterson, I think they used to have like an 8-piece band on the radio.
Wow. Yeah, live radio, that's a whole different kind of discipline,
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, what guitar players do you listen to now?
Well, I listen to lots of young and up-and-coming players. It's such an amazing universe of really, really good guitar players now. They're all trying to be Tommy Emmanuel, and that's a pretty good bar to try to reach.
Yeah.
And this guy, Alberto Lombardi's, he's not a young guy. He's in his 40s. He's young to me.
Yeah, and me.
The guy can play like Lenny Breau style harmonics all day long.
Wow.
If you want, That's like astounding. And
I just told somebody a story. I had a guitar student, 30 years ago, and he had moved down to Nashville for about a year trying to make it as a country musician, and moved back up to Minneapolis and took a few lessons from me. But the first night he was in Nashville, he went to see Lenny Breau, the great Canadian guitar player discovered by Chet Atkins, at a little Nashville club. And so he said, I just got in from Minnesota. Where should I look for a place to live? And Lenny goes, I'm looking for a roommate. And this kid ended up living with Lenny Breau for about a year. And he said Lenny would come home from the gigs and just sit around the table till 3 or 4 in the morning and just play guitar. Sounds like heaven to me.
Sheesh.
And he
should write a book.
Yeah, no, I wish I could track the kid down. We've got Tim Sparks on for one more set. We're going to listen to the title track of his new record he did with James Buckley called Jukebox Dreamin', and be back in a little bit.
Considering replacing your vacuum? What do you do with the old one? Throw it in the garage? Worse yet, throw it in the garbage? How about trade it in and save? A1 Vacuum in Roseville has been around forever, and they take trade-ins. When you trade in your old vacuum, you save. So if it's time to replace that old clunker headed for the garage or landfill, bring it into A1 Vacuum in Roseville. You can find A1 Vacuum at a-1vacuum.com or call 651-222-6316.
Native Roots Radio is proud to announce we've added an extra hour.
Yeah, Chushke, 1 hour goes by too fast.
That's right, Uncle Curtis.
I'll have extra time to share important information about our secret animals.
And report national and native news from all over the country and Canada.
This new hour is sponsored by Robbins Kaplan LLP, dedicated to redefining excellence for high-stakes litigation representation in Indian country.
Saturdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
We are awake.
Hi, this is Charlie. Dad, don't embarrass me by making me say this.
What does a used iPhone go for today?
Fine. My dad is the greatest fantasy football player of all time, Matt McNeil.
I won our league this year.
Ugh. When I'm getting together with my friends without my dad, we always go in my Sienna. Not only does it drive great in winter conditions, but it can easily fit all my friends with seating up to 8.
My son's friends' parents request he drive because he has a Sienna. It tells you everything you need to know about their safety and reliability. See for yourself at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
The local advertisers you hear on AM 950 are the lifeblood of the station. If you find yourself regularly tuning in, or if you appreciate the diversity of content we deliver, please take the time to support our advertisers. Even if it's just to thank them for backing AM 950, your voice and support can go a long way. Help keep the station going strong while investing in our local community. Find the complete list of on-air supporters by visiting the advertisers page at am950radio.com. That's am950radio.com.
Visit the wine bar at Cafe Latte and enjoy a unique handcrafted pizza and glass of wine. The perfect place for an intimate night or an evening with friends. Choices range from spicy Italian sausage and sweet roasted peppers to the one-of-a-kind nacho chicken pizza layered with blue corn tortilla chips. The approachable wine list offers over 30 by the glass with special emphasis on wines from Washington State. End your night with one of Cafe Latte's melt-in-your-mouth desserts. 850 Grand Avenue, St. Paul.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the most informative source for progressive politics and news in the Twin Cities. Get involved online at am950radio.com, where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter, check out the local businesses that help make this content available, and stay up to date on the latest news and upcoming events. You can always reach us by email at comment@am950radio.com. That's comment@am950radio.com. Thanks for listening.
AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight with a low about 23 and mostly cloudy on Saturday with a high near 36. Crooner's Supper Club is a woman-owned business with multiple service recognitions. Crooner's Supper Club works hard to earn its reputation for excellent professional service, delicious, fairly priced cuisine and programming that draws equally from the local and national scenes. Located off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive in Fridley. Details at croonersloungemn.com.
We just heard my guest, Tim Sparks, do just a very creative arrangement of the Simon & Garfunkel tune, Homeward Bound. And we're going to play a little bit more off his new record, Jukebox Dreamin', at the end of this set. So, Tim Sparks, you have such a facility with recreating these what sound like simple folk songs, but they're not, and then you put your own touch on it. It really becomes pretty magical.
Well, you know, going back to Segovia, he had an interesting saying about making an arrangement of a guitar piece, of a piece originally written for something else. He said it should actually sound better than the original, if you want to think of it as a successful arrangement. And I don't think anything I do is better than the original, but I do think if you make a really great guitar arrangement, it should really light up on the guitar in a special way that offers some kind of new angle on the tune. Like if we think of our iconic songs, it's kind of like Finnegan's Wake. You know, it's like you've got the song in the middle of the page, like Talmud, and then there are all the different commentaries and different versions of that song that all kinds of artists have done over the years that in their own little way kind of add little dimensions to that song. And so you develop a kind of a hypertextual understanding of it. Is you understand more and more of the different renditions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Now, so how many songs, Tim Sparks, are on Jukebox Dreamin'?
I think there's 13 or 11.
Okay.
I mean, I get my fingers out here. I have to start counting. But I think there's 11 or 12.
Okay. 11, yeah. Brett Johnson, the esteemed studio engineer, just shot me, I think it was 11, or you were giving me the finger twice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
wasn't.
Anyway, we taped this show with Tim Sparks earlier in the week. Right now, as we speak, Rio Nito, his great trio with Prudence Johnson and Tom Lieberman, are performing at Crooners in Fridley. Tim, let's talk a little bit about bringing Rio Nito back and dusting off the cobwebs, and you've started doing some shows over the last few years.
Yeah, we have, and actually we're working on a new record in the same studio where I recorded Jukebox Dreamin' at Wild Sound Studios, which is engineered by Steve Call.
Oh, he's amazing. He's just about
is.
6 blocks from where I take my TV show, Wall of Power TV.
He's terrific. He gets a lot of credit for anything that sounds good on anything I do, because he's got a guy that puts you at ease and lets you blossom in the studio. That's almost a kind of a psychic, intangible quality, but
yeah,
you know, he has a good mojo. And I enjoyed doing this record with Steve, and now Rio Nito's having this. We're about halfway through a record we're doing. I hope we'll have it out by the end of the year and do a big show to celebrate the Dakota.
Well, we'd love to have you back on when that happens.
Yeah.
Steve Call is not only an amazing engineer, but he's a hell of a guitar player himself. Tim Sparks, I bumped into your old running buddy and my first friend in Minneapolis, Tommy Lieberman, just a couple of days ago, and he said that you and he are working on some new material that might be for Rio Nito.
We are writing some new original songs, and I've been writing some music, and Tom is really great with writing lyrics, and he's creating some really cool stuff. So we're very excited about how this record's going to turn out. It'll be a big surprise to a lot of people that like our music. There'll be some really interesting new music included. We're happy about it.
Well, I'm happy about it too, Tim Sparks. Say, didn't you and Lieberman do a duo gig not too long ago?
Yeah, we played down at Carnegie Crossings in Zumbrota, and sometimes we played the Astor, and that's a lot of fun. Tommy's really killer guitar player, and he's really bonded with this baritone guitar of his.
Yeah.
He's really getting a handle on it now. Sounds really great when he plays. And by the way, you sounded really great at that tribute the other night at the Ice House.
Oh, thank you very much.
We were killing it.
Thanks, man.
Sounded really good.
Well, I was playing that new Eastman guitar that I got from Fret Central. They had just opened up. Great guitar shop. Actually, it's kind of the spiritual successor to the Podium, right in South, right just a little bit north of Dinkytown. And they've got a lot. Have you been there, Tim, Fret Central?
No, I need to go check that out.
Yeah, they have a lot of beautiful guitars. So I went there. I got invited. Let's see, Billy McLaughlin and Phil. I'm spacing out on Phil's last name.
Phil Haywood.
Yeah, Phil Haywood played the opening. And so I played all these guitars, and like these, they had some really nice, under $1,000 acoustic guitars, but they had a lot over $1,000 acoustic guitars. And my story is, and I'm sticking to it, was years ago I went to the Podium and I played this brand new, beautiful Gibson J45, and it sounded great, and it played great. It was that gorgeous Gibson Brown Sunburst, and I played it for about a half an hour, and one of the salespeople came up. I think they thought I had a sale and said, "Paul, well, what do you think?" And I said, "How much is it?" They said, $5,600. And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I have a rule of thumb." I said, "I don't buy or play guitars that are worth more than the car that I drive." But when I was walking out of Fred Central, I saw this kind of a takeoff on a ES-175, which I always wanted to have with one pickup. And, you could play swing and blues and folk and fingerstyle. So, yeah, that's my new baby. I call her Jackie Magic. What are you playing these days, Tim? What kind of guitar?
I've been playing the same guitar for about a decade. It was made by Charlie Hoffman.
Okay.
And I went into his shop with my granddaughter's guitar, which is a Chinese copy of a Gibson OM series, kind of like a violin-shaped guitar with an oval sound hole. And what I liked about it was it had a very short scale. And then they had a guitar there that had a short scale, and it was one Charlie had made, and it's made with coil wood and spruce. And I've been playing that and used it on a number of records, and been playing this since about 2008.
Well,
so
you should. Has any guitar company approached you about doing a Tim Sparks model?
Oh, not exactly. I'm working on doing a guitar with Tim Reedy sometime. I like his guitars.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guitar maker here in the Twin Cities, up and coming.
It's hard to believe, Tim, that we've known each other now for 41 years. And I want to ask you about, we lost one of the guiding lights, probably the heart and soul of the Minneapolis music scene, who I know you were close with a few months back. Tell us a little bit about how you felt about Willie Murphy.
Oh, well, Willie Murphy is one of the first people in Twin Cities who, kind of reached out to me and gave me some work and recognized that I had something to contribute. And that was always meaningful to me because when I moved here, I found this very uptight kind of cliquish scene.
Yeah.
Very hard to, break into.
The folk mafia.
Yeah.
I think that's what Willie used to call it, actually.
And Willie was, we hung out a lot, and I have a lot of great memories with him. He produced my demo tape of the Nutcracker Suite that I sent, that got me a record deal with Peter Finger.
Wow.
We recorded that in his living room, and over the years, I shared lots of literature and insights of things to me about Sufism and art and all kinds of things.
Yeah,
he also, nurtured Rio Nito, and he played bass on our first record. He actually introduced us to each other, sort of.
Really?
He was always helping everybody. He was a mentor to so many musicians. Yeah. And a very selfless, righteous person. And we thought he'd always be here, in the way he is, but
yeah.
It was very sad when he passed.
Huge loss. Sad. Tim Sparks.
I played that song over and over again. He always sang it. I heard him sing it at Dave Ray's memorial and at Gus Gustafson's. It was the song of I've Got a Secret. Did We Shake Sugary? It's the line. A very, very beautiful song. He always played to the funerals, I think, and I thought about him when I listened to that song.
Wow. Tim Sparks, has been a really wonderful conversation. Where can people track you down and see you play, and also buy some of your records?
Well, I'm playing at the Ice House on a semi-regular basis, so just check their calendar. I'm playing out at the 929 Landing. It's in Minnetonka.
Okay.
That's on Thursday, May 30th. That's a really cool gig. It's a beautiful restaurant. And I'll be back at the Ice House over the summer. Like I said, I'm doing a cool gig there with Mark Stillman and Tim O'Keefe. That'll be really a lot of cool gypsy and Middle Eastern and snake dance music. Looking forward to that.
Kerosene and Rattle.
I'm playing with my buddy Phil Haywood. We're playing at Northrop and at the Astor. So
cool.
Yeah.
And now, was it TimSparks.com?
Right now, I have a Tim Sparks Facebook page, and I'm rebuilding my web page. So
great.
Facebook is a place to check out what I'm doing.
Well, Timmy, I look forward to seeing you again. Look forward to hearing from you. We're going to listen to a great Chris Cornell Soundgarden track called Black Hole Sun, arranged and played by Tim Sparks and James Buckley.
Hi, it's Tom, and if you're struggling with what to get her this Valentine's Day, stop in at Continental Diamond for their Lila necklace. Starting at $5.95, this bezel solitaire necklace features a contemporary side diamond she's sure to love, and it's only on hand at Continental Diamond. Or surprise her with a pair of diamond studs available in many sizes and prices. So cherish her with Continental Diamond, your Valentine's Day headquarters, located in St. Louis Park, adjacent to West End, or at continentaldiamond.com.
Do yourself a favor and check out the amazing cuisine of eatlocalminnesota.com. More than just a website, eatlocalminnesota.com provides you with the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. The award-winning Hazel's Northeast combines the feel of a small-town diner with the vibrant nature of its Northeast Minneapolis neighborhood. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, weekend brunch, or dinner, their classically inspired and creatively prepared American comfort food is always made from scratch. Hazel's Northeast at 29th and Johnson in Northeast Minneapolis. EatLocalMinnesota.com. The dedicated staff at Nightingale Restaurant take pride in presenting a thoughtful and delicious approach to food and drink, whether you're visiting for dinner, happy hour, or brunch. Their focus on made-from-scratch meals using sustainable and local ingredients is likely to make Nightingale your go-to spot for inspired food and drinks. Nightingale, Lindell and 26th in Minneapolis.
Next time on Philosophy Talk, the death of the sentence.
What are you talking about? I speak and write in full sentences all the time.
But don't you agree that emails, texts, and tweets encourage way too much informality in language?
LMAO, John. Shrug emoji.
Astonished-faced emoji. Angry-faced emoji.
Death of the sentence. Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Philosophy Talk, every Sunday at 8 a.m. and again at 2 p.m. on AM 950.
The number one source of the Twin Cities gay scene is all digital. Follow Twin Cities Gay Scene on Facebook and Twitter. Sign up for the Scene Shot email blast for weekly updates and chances to win great prizes. No app is needed to view the bi-weekly web editions of Scene. It's GLBTQ media for the mobile generation. Find it all at TwinCitiesGayScene.com. That's TwinCitiesGayScene.com.
Did you realize that Drink in the Style is available on iTunes, Google Play, and pretty much every other podcast platform out there? You can listen to past episodes of Drink in the Style, or maybe download our really cool martini glass graphic, or just listen to your favorite episode again and again. But if you do, I need to ask you for a quick favor. Hop online and give us a 5-star rating. It helps others find the show and also boosts my fragile ego. Drink in the Style. It's a great way to kill Sundays, or really anytime at all.
First thing I remember knowing was a lonesome whistle blowing and a youngin's dream of growing up to ride on a freight train leaving town, not knowing where I'm bound, and no one could change my mind but Mama tried. The one and only rebel child from a family meek and mild, my mama seemed to know what lay in store. Despite all my Sunday learning, towards the bad I kept on turning, till Mama couldn't hold me anymore.
Welcome back to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metsa. We just listened to a little bit of the great Merle Haggard singing one of his classic tunes, Mama Tried, here on Mother's Day weekend. Like I told you at the top of the hour, our second guest tonight is Mr. Bobby Vandell. Bobby actually started out in the music business as a drummer. He's performed with everybody from Bonnie Raitt, Lamont Cranston, Alexander O'Neill, the Paul Metsa Group, and others. And he's debuting his tribute to Merle Haggard tonight and on Mother's Day at Crooner's Lounge in Fridley. We've got him on the line. Bobby, you've settled into a nice second career now as a country crooner.
Yeah, isn't that something? Boy, it's been quite a transition. I'm having fun with it too, Paul.
When did the idea come up? I know you've always loved country music and you've got a beautiful voice, but when did the idea to do the Sing Me Back Home, the ultimate Merle Haggard experience come to you?
No, I've played drums with so many people. I've watched so many great singers from the drum chair, and I've learned a lot from all of them. Some of them, most of them, what to do. Some of them, what not to do. And I just
hey, Bobby, keep me out of this. Keep me out of this. Well, you've always sang when you were with the Paul Metsa Group. You sang some leads. You're a great harmony singer. But I imagine growing up in St. Cloud, you started listening to country music at a young age.
Yeah, I did. My mom was listening to jazz in the house. And my dad loved country, so I had a lot of different kinds of music going on in the house, and I fell in love with all of it. Merle was one of those voices that just stood out for me. I just think he's got one of the most beautiful singing voices in any genre of music.
Well, I consider him, along with Prince, probably to be one of America's greatest musicians. Not only was he a brilliant songwriter, had a gorgeous voice, great guitar player, also played fiddle, and a band leader. And as a matter of fact, I talked to Marty Haggard, Merle's firstborn son, my very first Wall of Power TV show, and he said Merle Haggard was a big fan of Prince.
I'm sure he was. I mean, he had a real open mind. He loved all different kinds of music. You know, he didn't come from Nashville like most country artists came from. He came from Bakersfield, California. Him and Buck Owens were the two guys who came from that town and grew up in a little different environment, perhaps a little bit more diverse music that he listened to when he was younger.
Well, and of course, the great Merle Haggard story. Unfortunate for him, he had to spend 2 years in San Quentin after it, but he and his buddy were out on kind of a bender and decided to break into the back door of a bar. The owner came around and said, "Merle, we're open."
Yeah. Yeah. They're going in the front one, I guess.
But the great thing about that was he was actually in San Quentin when Johnny Cash performed.
Yeah, he was, and that's really what changed his life. I mean, he did some jail time when he was 11. I mean, his mother didn't know what to do with him. His father had left, and he was living a very wild life at that young of an age. He had three jail stints, and when he was 18 years old, went into San Quentin, and Johnny Cash came on stage, and of course, he was giving the finger to the guards, and he was chewing gum and acting arrogant. And Merle Haggard fell in love with him. He thought, I can do that. That's what I want to do the rest of my life. That's what he did.
God bless them both. Tell us about the show. Are you going to tell stories, or is it primarily music?
No, I like to tell a few stories. I mean, I've got a radio show myself, so I enjoy learning about the artists that I'm playing on the radio, and this is no different. I've got some short stories I'm going to tell about Merle or about the song. These songs have a lot of history, and Lord knows Merle does. So, yeah, there's some stories to tell, and I think the audience really enjoys that. Give them a little background on the song before I sing it. And, I got a world-class band tonight, too.
Yeah, who's playing
Saturday
with you?
night as well. Bruce McCabe on the piano, Melanie Rosales singing and playing guitar, Danny Real Deal Neal playing guitar, Joe Savage on the pedal steel. It's a world-class band.
That's a 5-star world-class band, absolutely. We're talking with Bobby Vandel. He's performing tonight at Crooner's Lounge, 7:30 tonight. Tickets at croonersloungemn.com. Also, Bobby in the Merle Haggard Tribute, the special Mother's Day show, Sunday, May 12th at 5 p.m. Tell us a little bit about the band, Bobby.
Yeah, this band is, I'm so proud to have these guys. We had so much fun at all the rehearsals. They are just world-class. Bruce McCabe, the great Bruce McCabe on the piano, played with Johnny Lang, of course, Lamont Cranston, the Hoop Snakes for many years. And we've got Real Deal Danny Neal on guitar.
He's fantastic.
From Tennessee originally. There's not a better country guitar player in the world. Joe Savage on the pedal steel. That guy is as good as they get. Melanie Rosales will be there singing, playing guitar. This band truly is world-class. I'm so proud to have them.
It sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal show, Bobby. Now, what is the name of the band?
Well, a good friend of mine by the name of Paul Metza told me a long time ago I should name my band the Bandoleros. It took me a long time to have that sink in, but I finally did it, and we're going to debut that name Saturday night.
I'm honored that you would use it, Bobby Vandel. Bobby Vandel and the Bandoleros doing Sing Me Back Home, Crooner's Lounge, May 11th, 7:30, Sunday, special Mother's Day show on May 12th at 5 p.m. Bobby, just about 20 seconds left. Where do you hope to take the show after the Crooner's Lounge experience?
Well, I'm already traveling around the country doing Merle Haggard, picking up bands in different areas of the country. I'm going to be going to Atlanta here at the end of June to do a festival, outdoor festival down there. I hope to get to the point where I can take my own band, but right now I'm just flying around doing some shows around the country. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, very soon we'll be taking my own band out there and doing some of these shows for people all over.
Bobby Vandel, thanks for your time tonight. Good luck with the show tonight and the Mother's Day show tomorrow at Crooner's Lounge. And you're saluting one of the greatest musicians that America has ever had. Thanks for listening to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metza. This show is engineered by Brett Johnson. We'd like to thank our guests, Tim Sparks and Bobby Vandel. In the background, we're listening to Tim Sparks' version of Mama Tried, and we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all you wonderful mothers out there in the Wall of Power Radio Hour land. Check out paulmetza.com. You can find out where I'm playing. If you want to buy a record or a book, I could set you up with that as well. And like my dad used to tell me, remember to be kind and make someone happy.